Some people have been interested in what are the difficulties I've faced while living in my car. I don't even have a label for it right now. I don't like labels. I've been trying to come up with something so that I can label this playlist, label these videos, to give people an idea, because as humans, we see labels, we respond to them, we understand them. It gives us an awareness of what's going on, right? I'm playing with things like the extraterrestrial wanderer, or the wandering extraterrestrial, or something like that. It might be the wandering extraterrestrial, I'm not sure yet. But so I'm wandering around, I'm living in my car, I'm at my parents' right now. And this beautiful backyard that they have that they just kind of stare at. don't really do much with it, I guess. They have parties every once in a while, but they don't like sit and meditate or talk to the spirits. The biggest thing I'd say they do with it is they draw in the animals. They draw in a lot of deer and turkeys and foxes and things. So, and there's a huge pond back there, which is beautiful. Not sure why I'm saying that, but my guides have me go through different things for a reason for different people. The maple thing, helicopters falling. So what are the difficulties? One of the biggest one is sleep. Figuring out where to sleep is one of the hardest things. So out west, you can sleep anywhere. Bureau of Land Management land. For those of you who don't know, the West, like from Texas over, everything is public land. It's everywhere. And if it's not public land, it's U.S. Forest Service land or National Forest land, which is basically the same thing. Like you can just pull in and camp wherever. Sometimes you might have to sign up for a permit, but there are times there's nobody around. You just pull in and park and it's okay. Type of thing. I don't recommend doing that, but I have done that at the guidance of my guides. Like just do it. Nobody's gonna bother you. There's land everywhere out west. The East Coast, I knew I was gonna have this problem of sleep. There's nowhere to sleep for free. You've got rest stops, service stations, that's it. So I downloaded an app called iOverlander, and I signed up for an app called The Dirt. Now The Dirt, I signed up for primarily and paid for it because of I want to find new locations out west, and it has tons of them. iOverlander is an app that's a mess. This is the word for it. It's community driven. There's so much data on there, and in like 90% of the data that's there isn't even valid, type of thing. It's frustrating, but it's good for cities in finding parking locations. You have to sometimes click on 10 pins to get through all the ones that say marked as closed, or you'll get arrested, or don't, that type of thing. Which, yes, in a lot of places they will arrest you on site for sleeping in your vehicle. It's crazy, our society, how the rich, especially rich areas is what I was getting at. The rich areas, they are so afraid of seeing people do things that are not what they're doing, that they will have you arrested to keep their space looking the way they want to perceive it, which is of tons of money. So be aware that if anybody's doing this, you can be arrested on site. And I had a knock in Key West, and that they explained that to me. They were perfectly nice. They were like, we just want you to go, first time doing it, don't do it again, but know that the police will arrest you and take you to jail. So sleep was an issue, and of course I was like, well, I don't want to get arrested, especially since I got a knock. I'm like, I'm not doing this again, trying to sleep just anywhere. Cracker Barrels were awesome. The Cracker Barrels, most of them you can sleep at. You can find that on the app, and people will tell you, like, yeah, this one allows it. And so I slept there. I slept in some campsites at one point, and a client gave me a house at one point. And so sleep was the hardest thing, though, because you leave one place, and so like a rest stop, you're not really supposed to sleep at these places multiple days in a row. If they catch you doing that, then you're technically like camping, and they'll fine you in the best case scenario. So it's like you pick a rest stop, you sleep there, you drive an hour or two or wherever to go wherever, and you do your thing, you know, all day long, and then you have to find another place to sleep. Now in some places you've got a couple Cracker Barrels around, you've got a rest stop an hour away, so you can kind of easily plan things. But that's the hard part, is like, okay, where am I going next? Always like, where am I going next? Because I'm on the East Coast. You're not planting yourself for a few days. I love to travel and explore, but not every day. Most people don't like that. Like that, you want to go to a place and you want to spend 2 weeks there. My whole thing is, if you go to a place for a week, you can't even really get the sense of what it is. You have to spend time in that place, learning it, finding all the nooks and crannies, learning where the tourist areas are so that you can get away from those. And I'm big on that. I don't do tourist areas. I find the local beaches, the local parking lots. Those are the places where there's never anybody there. You don't have to fight for parking. You typically don't have to pay for it. Places you can pay for, you know, $10 an hour for parking down in Florida at sometimes. And you can drive a mile down the road to a residential area, pull off the side of the road and walk to the beach for free. Like, it just takes some figuring out, some thinking, looking at the maps and all that. But parking and sleeping were one of the challenges. Parking was another big one, because I was trying to you don't want to pay money every day. The whole point of living on the road is to save money. So you're like, you don't want to pay for a tent site every night. You don't want to pay for a hotel, an Airbnb, or parking. And sometimes parking is not cheap. It's crazy what some of these lots get for parking. And, you know, I was in Philadelphia once and paid like $60 a day or something for a convention. It was just bonkers what we were paying to park. So those are two of the challenges. Another one, bugs. The East Coast, once I got to Florida, the beaches, the ocean's beautiful, no bugs. Orlando, no bugs. Key West, the biting gnats. I can deal with mosquitoes. You put some natural spray on, some vanilla, some other stuff. The vanilla didn't work in the Keys. The peppermint oil did, peppermint oil. But the bugs were terrible, to the point where these little biting gnats, they call them no-see-ums. I had hundreds. I had so many bites on my body that my guides were setting me up with days at tent sites to heal, because my body was like just covered in these bites. Hundreds, if not thousands of them, because I couldn't find something to keep them away until I ended up finally buying a citronella candle. I tend to stay away from, I don't use bug sprays, and I was trying not to use citronella because their candles are usually filled with all kinds of crap in them. And so I finally broke down and went, you know, I'm just going to buy the citronella. I got peppermint oil. Peppermint oil worked for mosquitoes. The citronella kept the no-see-ums away. But the bugs were horrible until I got to Georgia, or until I got above Georgia. I was hiding in my tent in Georgia because of the gnats, the ticks. Ticks were just all over the ground. I like the South. I like the beaches. And I should say the Southeast, the beaches and stuff. And the nature is beautiful, but the insects are just, you're constantly battling them. It's just like a battle when you're trying to do stuff in the natural world, and there's ticks everywhere and you're flicking them off, and there's biting gnats attacking you and mosquitoes trying to get you. So it was just a battle. And some of you saw those posts about me being in a war. My car has blood stains in it because I had so many mosquitoes that I was smashing them against the ceiling and stuff. And I don't even know if those are going to come out. Maybe with some cleaning effort, but we'll see. So those were a couple of the challenges. But the biggest one was sleep and probably food, because I don't carry a cooler. I eat raw, so I just eat raw. But in the car on the East, not being outside, yeah. Oh yeah, I can go over 10 minutes. This is for YouTube. I was about to stop and I'm like, wait, no, this one's for YouTube. So the bugs were an issue. What else? The whole thing with the East Coast, because you can't plant yourself in one place, you have this space where you're just always on the road. You're always surrounded by restaurants. You need a place to do work. Spent a lot of time in Paneras, which meant I spent a lot of money in Panera. Not the best for my diet, because I'm more raw. I like to eat more pure, clean, raw food. But I also believe that if you're going to spend time in a place, you have to buy something. Don't just use it, that sort of thing. Make sure you're supporting the business. So I was buying, the baked goods. I'd buy the Mediterranean veggie sandwich, which I would eat from time to time. Typically just a big tea. I was like, wait, I don't have to buy all this stuff. I finally learned, I'm like, yeah, duh, you don't have to do what you used to do. You can just buy a tea and sit there with a tea. So I started doing that towards the end. What else? Food. Sleeping in the car was easy as far as sleeping in it. That was, a lot of people were like, how are you doing that? I'm like, it's easy. I put a furniture pad down. I put a piece of furniture pad down, super comfy. But tearing the car apart to like resetting it, because nothing's fixed right now, it's not truly converted, that's a challenge. Every time you go to sleep, moving your stuff around to get it off the bed. Anytime you want something from under the plywood, having to move stuff around, that should be fixed this next trip. I guess there's not much else that's coming to mind, so I'll stop there. But let me know if you have any questions. For those of you interested in doing what I'm doing, I'm learning a lot. I designed this so that I just basically put everything in the car on top of plywood without doing anything fixed, so that I could figure out, okay, what do I want to keep? What do I want to take? How do I want to set this up? Spent a month in the car, now I kind of know. And there's a lot of things I'm going to change. So, but thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped some of you out there, and I'll keep you posted.